It's just great stuff. And I appreciate at times, it's difficult to make time in the diary to take the time out to do this. But it is a fantastic programme, more of which I'll tell you about in just a second. So we are delighted to see you. Can I just simply ask, how many of you are first-time conventioners? Can I just have a show of hands? Oh wow, loads. Okay, so am I actually, as it happens. Yeah, it's true, you're with the learners. I'm actually acting, as I said, as head of this, while Charlotte Turton is on maternity leave. So I'm literally holding the baby while she's having the baby, or bringing up the baby anyway. So what I want to do is just take you through a few things, and then I'll crack on with the main purpose of the day. I certainly don't propose to go through the entire programme for you, because you've all got at home your notebooks, which tell you who's speaking, who's doing what. There are some just great sessions here today, I kid you not. We've got some stuff about leadership, quality stuff about improving leadership skills, about understanding, sharper, some fantastic workout sessions, breakout sessions, led by some people who I've worked with before and are top notch. Then we go into the IGD soothsayer of economic gloom. Hopefully it's a bit more entertaining today. James Walton, and at the end of the day, obviously we have Sir Ralph Fiennes coming to make the keynote speech. Now, Sir Ralph is often called the world's greatest living explorer by the Guinness Book of Records. And just looking at the number here, and I know this is a bit contrived, so bear with me, but it looks like we've set our own convention record today. I am sure that this is the most attended convention yet. So yet again, thank you very much. And just testament to people that have worked with me, my team that have put this together. It's been a terrific effort and all good stuff. So anyway, an event like this doesn't come cheap, does it? You can imagine booking the QE2, the lunch, everything like that. And neither does the actual Leading Edge network. It's all free to you. Absolutely free, whether you come to a masterclass, a webinar, the resources online. So how do we do this trick? And I have to give a bit of credit to my colleagues at IGD here. About IGD. Some of you will know us as a membership body, some as an organisation offering research and insight across the whole food and grocery industry, all of which is true. But we also sell stuff. And some of you may have seen this. So we've got Academy. These are just examples. So Academy, Shopper Vista, our trade briefings, subscription services through Retail Analysis and Shopper Vista actually. And we do a whole range of things which we charge for. But we are also a charity. So all that money that they make for us gets ploughed back into us delivering public benefit, according with our charitable objectives, which is making sure that the end user, the public, the consumer gets a better deal. So, thanks to them, we take their cash, and not-for-profit charity. Yeah? Just a few quick things. This year has been an astonishing year for Leading Edge. Our membership's grown over 2,500 this year, which is why I was delighted to see so many hands of new people. We've delivered over 30 events this year. We've got more to come. I'll talk about those in a second. We've trialled some new events, for example, webinars, more to come. Speed networking, some of you may have come along to those events. That was quite entertaining, at the very least. Kind of speed dating after work by another name. So that's all the kind of progress we're making. What I want to do now is just remind you what's still on the cards, for this year. So negotiation skills in September, munching upwards in October, public speaking in November, and a November webinar. If you haven't registered already, please do. It's lovely to see you at the event. I mean, this is very much your network. So, the more you come, the better. Just briefly on what we're going to do next year. I'm going to continue to expand. We've done surveys of you. We try and talk to our members as much as we can. We understand that some of our venues are at slightly difficult locations for you to get to. So we're going to try and build a network, open up new venues, particularly looking around the east and the northwest. So hopefully we'll be able to make sure you can get to some of those. We're going to increase the flexibility in our calendar of events. People have said to me when I've been out at the events, Mike, I really wanted to do time management this year, but it was in February. I can't do it again this year. What are you going to do? So we're looking at ways that we can kind of make those kind of things more available to you on an ongoing basis. Through the last bit there, which is about developing our online presence. Thank you for all those that responded to the survey. about the IGD website. Lots of very positive comments, lots of really constructive ideas about what we need to do to bring it forward. And so over the next year, we'll be looking to take forward most of those actions. Bit of housekeeping before we crack on. Please turn off your phones now if you haven't done so already. Yep. In a minute, you're going to hear a big announcement about the fire alarm and the health and safety in here. It has to be done because of the size of the building, and it's so long that I can't do it. So we're going to have a little kind of clip from upstairs. And you've got a learning log as well, your note pages. Do take notes as you wish. What we're trying to do, though, is make sure that resources will be made available to you after the event online. Yeah? So if I could just ask the guys up there, the AV guys, to play this QE to kind of health and safety stuff, then I'll introduce the first speaker of the day. Okay? Thank you again for coming.
Welcome to the Queen Elizabeth II Conference Centre. Please listen carefully to the following emergency instructions and look for your nearest marked fire exit now. You will not be able to use the passenger lifts. In the unlikely event of an emergency during your event, the following warning sound will be given and an announcement will be made over the public address system. If an immediate evacuation is necessary, trained staff in high visibility tabards will be available to assist you. You should leave the building by the nearest available fire exit stairs and make your way to the assembly point, which is across the road and near the column outside Westminster Abbey, opposite the front of the Queen Elizabeth II Conference Centre's main entrance. Any persons requiring special evacuation assistance because of impaired mobility should make themselves known to their event organiser if they have not already done so. Thank you for listening. Please enjoy the rest of your event.
Thanks, guys. Okay, our first speaker then today is Ross Page. He is an international trainer and author, chairman and founder of Tom International Limited. And Tom has revolutionised business coaching and training with an eclectic mix of fun, science, brain science and fast results. Now, I went down to Brighton where Ross is based to talk about this briefing. And he had myself and Antoinette doing little exercises on the beach in Brighton. So the most unusual speaker briefing I've ever done, but probably also the most entertaining I've ever done as well. So this is the fourth time that Ross has spoken at a Leading Edge event, and I can assure you that you will deliver a dynamic and entertaining session. So to get us to a flying start, can I introduce Ross Page?
You're going to be doing some work. Can you look at the person next to you, please? Both sides, we have some on both sides. I know it's scary, I know you're British, but please look at the person next to you. Now look at them again and say goodbye. If we don't separate you physically, we may separate you mentally. So, as Mike said, my name's Ross Page. We did have some fun on the beach, but we won't tell them everything, Mike, okay? Yes, that's me, and this is my session. It's about Tom and Mile Kelvin. Now, we're going to be going really fast. You're going to learn 61 things. My wife's name is Diana. My name is Ross. So we introduce ourselves as Diana Ross. So that could be useful for you a little bit later. So we're going to talk about Tom, and I'm going to ask you to do lots of stuff. Is that okay? Go like this, we're going to do it anyway. So, leadership skills. What it would be like, we actually surveyed a whole bunch of IGD people before who had already booked into this conference and got some information from them. And we found out what they wanted to learn. So, Tom, Mile Kelvin. Tom stands for Trust, Objectives and Motivation. Could you turn to the person next to you, please, and tell them that Tom stands for Trust, Objectives and Motivation. And trust me, we're going to do things sillier than that. Go. Or it happens when you get to a conference as well. So I'm not going to allow you to do that. We're going to allow you to do lots of things with your thoughts. Who controls your thoughts? I can just ask, who's met me before? Maybe at a conference thing? Who hasn't? Who really doesn't care whether me or not? Find out who our friends are. Hey, who controls your thoughts? Lady here, what's your name? Sorry?
Yeah.
That's right. So, who controls your thoughts? You do. Okay, interesting. Can you work with me for a moment? All of us will do this together. Do not, whatever you do, you control your thoughts, right? Okay. Do not, whatever you do not visualize, picture, or imagine in any way, shape, or form. Do not see in your mind's eye. Do not envision a blue elephant. How'd you go? Do not see me standing next to the blue elephant. Don't see the tigers in danger. Okay, so who controls your thoughts then? Well, it's funny. I thought you did see the blue elephant, didn't you? And those of you who didn't see the blue elephant, who think you didn't see the blue elephant, it's impossible not to see the blue elephant. You think in pictures, not in words. When I say the words blue elephant, you not see the words blue elephant. Oh, well, you have now. So who controls your thoughts? Do things control your thoughts? Other people? Issues? I can't control the thoughts that come into my head, but I control the ones I act on. So we're going to talk about how you control those thoughts and improve your leadership skills. So, oh, sorry. I wrote a book called Everyone Agrees with Tom. Tom stands for what? Right, okay. And what Tom does, he climbs a mountain, he learns 12 things along the way. There are 12 things you're not going to learn here. Well, what I just did, I opened the box in your head. When I said the 61 things, your brain is on standby, wanting to put 61 things in those boxes. Now there's another 12 you'll probably learn after that. How many you got now? So, Tom climbs a mountain, there's 12 things along the way, and some very basic things that we're going to cover now. Who agrees with Tom? Now, go back to that for in a moment, because I'm going to ask you not to read the slides. Uh-oh, I'm going to try it. Be aware of that. Don't try and read the slides, because you can't do two things at once. You're going to meet a lot of people today. You're going to learn a lot of things. What we're trying to do is set you up so that you absorb those things and carry them with you. But you can't do two things at once. You can't listen to me and read. So, be careful if you're presenting slides not to do that. I've broken my own rule. I surveyed a lot of business people. I read about a lot of people like Richard Branson. I went to India. I went to visit the teachings of the Dalai Lama. I went to find myself, and I wasn't there. And then Jack Welch from the metal block. Jack Welch, the CEO of General Electric for 20 years. And what they said was, I'm tripping over this thing every time I walk past it. They said, Tom is in everything they do. Don't read it. This guy here, Gordon Bethune, took Continental Airlines from the worst airline in America to the best airline in America in 6 months. And what he did, he built trust with his workforce, he set objectives and meaningful out of motivating factor. He said, tell them what you want, reward them for it, then get out of the way. So whether you're dealing with customers, or you're dealing with staff, or you're dealing with salespeople, if you build trust for them, set objectives for them, add a motivating factor, you'll probably get the job done. So, Tom's about a balance. Tom, if you, can you look at the person next to you just a moment again? Just look at them for a moment. Do you trust this person? Now look at them again. And think, don't say anything, just think, do they trust you? Look again. What are their objectives in your relationship? What's a motivating factor? Why are they hanging out with you in the first place? Is there a reason for all this? So, that's all we're going to do with Tom today. It's one of the 12 models, one of the 12 things that Tom learns on the way to mountain. So we're going to add a little bit to that and add some words to it. And if trust is high, motivation can be low. Think about your best friend in the world. They ask you to do something, you will do anything for your best friend. Won't you? Just about, you'll even break the law for them. If they really needed it, you'd break the law for them. So you haven't got to give them a fire to do that extra thing. But if trust is low, how much are you going to pay them to do stuff for you? If your best friend asks you to drive to the hospital fast, drive at 100 miles an hour because they need it, you would probably do it. But if someone comes up to you and says, hey, can you drive me to the hospital at 100 miles an hour, there's probably very little chance that you would do that. You would need some sort of motivation, some sort of reason. So the idea is to keep it all balanced. And you're filing all this away at the moment. We're going through the 61. So we're going to use this in a moment. If you had a better memory, what would you like to remember? We asked this question of about 400 people across IGD, and we got a lot of responses, which is great, and we narrowed it down. We narrowed it down to this: names, conversation, processes, facts and figures. Names, conversation, processes, facts and figures. They just about covered everything that everybody said. So, can you turn to the person next to you again? No, the person behind you. Well, this is going to work, is it? Turn to another person and say, names, conversation, processes, facts and figures. Okay. Okay. Now, there's a reason we do that, because you have 10 different intelligences. A guy called Howard Gardner, Professor Howard Gardner from Harvard University, came up with what they call multiple intelligence theory. I've been working on that and with that, and some NLP things and some accelerated learning, which is all just names for the same stuff. We learn by using all those senses. So the more senses you use, the faster you're going to learn. So that's why you're going to learn fast. So we're gradually picking up pace here. So, names, conversation, processes, facts and figures. So, what's your name? What are you going to talk about today? What was the music playing when I came on? What are you famous for? Are you famous for anything? When people leave today, are they going to say, oh, I met Mary. She's famous for this. Her company's famous for that. Are you going to do some networking today? You will, whether you like it or not. You will be doing it. So, what are you famous for? Names, conversation, process, facts and figures. What sort of facts and figures are going to come up in meetings? What sort of conversations are you going to have with people on the break? What sort of figures are you going to get up here on the wall? What sort of processes are we going to go through? So we're going through a list of processes, and we're going to ask you what your elevator pitch is. You know what the elevator pitch was? 30 seconds in an elevator, what would you say to someone? Processes. So there's something about fire restrictions. We're going to do facts about today's agenda, because that's what you wanted to learn, how to remember what sort of agenda or what slides are on your set. And we're going to count to 10. Yeah, in Japanese. So, are you ready? Tom and Mile Kelvin. Mile Kelvin and Tom are the two keys to all this. Mile Kelvin's about learning with your senses. So, there will be music in your voice. You remember things, you remember lots and lots of nursery rhymes and the songs, but not lots of great slabs of prose. That's why Shakespeare is a bit easier to learn than normal plays if you're learning lines, because of the iambic pentameter, the beat, the rhythm in it. Think about it. Put it in logical order. There's a logical reason we're doing it this way. Think about it in a story, a dramatic story. What's your story today? When you tell people why you're here or what you're doing, what you're famous for, will I remember? Because it's an interesting story. Do you touch these people? Physically, metaphorically? When you do, you'll remember them easier. You'll have an emotional reaction to everybody you meet. You will have an emotional reaction to information. If I put a black type on a white background and put it up, you go, ugh. But if I put coloured information up there, or moving information, or blue elephants, then you grab that. And create pictures with words and words with pictures. By the way, presentation skills, I'm going to do that course in a couple of months. Because they say, often say, don't look at the slides. But what I find is, if I look at the slide, you look at the slide as well. But if I look at you, you don't know where to look at the slide or look at me, do you? It's confusing, isn't it? So I'll look at the slide. Make a vivid mental picture of it. That links with linguistic as well, linguistic intelligence. Every time you learn something, you have a string of neurons. Every new thing that happened, there is a string of neurons. Don't try and remember all this stuff. Just follow along with it. Because picking up pace, make it a little bit faster, make a picture of it. Share it with someone else. You don't do that. You did that already. You shared it with other people. Link it to nature. I don't know how we link it to nature in here, but there will be some link to nature. If you're training, this training room, we can see trees and sky because the brain relaxes when that happens. It becomes more open focused, if you will. Now we're taking information. But by the way, that's naturalist, not naturist. Don't think of a naturist. Too late. Don't think of a naturist sitting on a blue elephant. Don't do it. So, there's the 10 enhanced memory with mild Kelvin. All those intelligences create string of neurons. So, what's your elevator pitch? Personal uses, like it's Wikipedia. Personal uses include job interviewing, dating, summarising professional services. So, someone mentioned speed dating before, I think Mike mentioned it earlier. Today you're speed dating. And you're introducing your professional services. What are you going to be remembered for? What are you famous for? There's me. Everyone uses Tom as my company, Tom International, and twice the content, half the time, double the recall. That's what I want you to remember about this session. If you're talking to our guys at the Tom team table a little bit later, then this is what I want you to remember when you go out there. That we change training courses, we shorten them, we can take 1 hour courses and deliver them in 6 minutes with a better result. I'll show you how we did that in a moment. So, that's me, Ross Page. Everyone who uses Tom. And can you turn to the person next to you and say, Ross Page, everyone who uses Tom, twice the content, half the time, double the recall. Can you say to the person next to you, please? Go. Thank you. And that is what you just did. What you just did is use all these intelligences because it's natural for you to relate to other people. You shared it with someone. You had a visual reference on this, including that and the link to you. There is now words creating pictures, pictures creating words. All those things will happen in that 10 seconds. So, what are you famous for? I'm going to give you... Oh, sorry, just before we go. I want to say out loud, I'm good with conversations, processes, facts and figures. Sorry, I'm good with names, conversations. You noticed I missed that. Altogether, I'm good with names, conversations, processes, facts and figures. And what you did, you just created a string of neurons. And you said to your subconscious, this is what we're going to do. Your subconscious said, no, we're not. We're rubbish at all that stuff. Didn't you? You have voices in your head? I've got a whole committee. I'm going to do this. We're going to ask you my good idea. Intelligent dialogue. I'm good with names, conversations, processes, facts and figures. And you will be. So, hello, my name is, my company is. Oh, can you stand, please? Uh-oh, I know you've set up camp for the day. I know you put your bag down here and your coffee there. Put your things on your chair. You're not going to go far, just a couple of inches either way. Someone you don't know, preferably. And I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to find out what other people say. But first of all, I want you to decide. So you've got 1 minute standing there in silence. Whoa. 1 minute in silence to figure out what you're going to say. Hello, I'm such and such. My company is such and such. And I lead a famous war. And when I said a minute, I lied. So, I want you to meet 3 people. Look at 3 people and remember their pitch. So, not only are you going to remember yours, you've got to remember theirs. And you will. I want you to say to yourself, I'm good with names, conversations, processes, facts and figures. Go. I'm good with names, conversations, processes, facts and figures. And your subconscious goes, yay! I've been wanting to be good at that for years. Thank you. You have 3 minutes to meet 3 people, memorize their pitch and your own. Go.